Greetings, denizens of the tri-state area. Jacob Weil here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Dragon, I know what we're gonna do today. We're gonna activate the Recap-inator and discuss my favorite cartoon, Phineas and Ferb. That's right. In honor of the 15th anniversary and in preparation for the upcoming revival, I'm guiding Blue Dragon 5 here through the series, experience his reactions watching it for the first time, and reliving my summer memories through the years. Today's episode, Out to Lunch. And that's a story by Bobby Gaylor, Martin Olson, written storyboard by Kim Robertson, Piero Peluso, Kent Osborne, with Dan Bob Meyer, Zach Moncrief directing it. So, Dragon, how you coming down on this one?
You know, I do hesitate and wonder, like, are we doing it's kind of odd that we're doing space back to back, but we might be leaning heavy on the space, but it was a good episode.
Though to be fair, when they first actually aired, they aired didn't air back to back, so there's that.
Well, still, isn't it just kind of weird? In general, I'm thinking we're maybe doing we're leaning a little heavy on space in the first season.
Well, it's entirely possible, but the saying it's a space. There's a lot of it out there, so there's a lot to explore with space.
Right.
But I mean, I do see where you're coming. I do see where you're coming from on that. Anyway, it's like so. Yeah, I thought this was a really good episode. It's like for me, it's like one of the highlights of this season. I think this episode. I think this is one of those ones like I think you keep mentioning like how sometimes they either like sometimes they like can't fit enough into the 11-minute episodes, or they stretch out the 22 minutes too thin. I think this is the one. I think this is like my guess is that this probably worked in that regard for you, where they actually utilized their 22 minutes in a very good way.
Yeah.
All right, I thought so too. So Dream World actually, and don't worry, next week's episode does not have any space in it.
Okay. Just gives
Uh,
a little
well,
space from the space.
well, technically one of the episodes features a comet, but the episode takes place firmly on the ground.
Okay, even still though, it's like we go from asteroids and meteors, like the whole meteor shower dance thing. It's like the falling stars dance, and now comets. These guys are space junkies, man. I mean, look, that's cool, but throw the graphic up. Put the graphic up.
You mean the banner?
Yeah, sorry, put the banner up.
And let's see. Here we go.
Dan,
Oh boy, the deep breath.
Swampy, guys, look, we all like space. Space is cool, but it's your freshman year in Disney right now, guys. It's like we're doing a lot of space or space related material, and I mean, I know that you guys aren't necessarily Nostradamus, seeing where things are going to go, but guys, knowing that you're going to do this much space material, that perhaps one day, in syndication, or the thing no one else could predict in the world of streaming, that eventually these episodes are going to get numbered somehow, either on a DVD set, sadly not, or a streaming service. They're going to go in some order.
Yeah, sadly, this show is not. The show has received DVDs, but never a full box set.
I know, it's a shame that Disney's got a sickness with that. For some reason they never believed in the full season release. It's ridiculous.
I mean, they did it for things like Gravity Falls through Shout Factory.
That's the thing. The Shout Factory, like, that doesn't count because Shout Factory is like the last ditched effort that like the fans and like the media junkies have kind of gotten together. That's not even Disney that put in the deal bookers. That barely even counts.
I know, but technically, it is something they sent out to Shout Factory to get done. So
I was saying it's just sad as all. I'm just saying that's just sad. Like, come on, Disney, do your own dirty work, man. Come on.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you, Dragon.
I know. I'm talking to the. I'm talking to the immortal. I'm sending a message to Disney right now with that, but they're not going to see this anyway.
Let's just be glad we have Disney Plus.
True. Now,
I mean, granted, then some of the stuff that's happened hasn't proved to be fully reliable, but I think majority of the stuff is there to stay.
yes. Now, well, I wouldn't trust it now these days. But the whole. I'm not done with the message. I got sidetracked with the
Okay.
almost. Guys, My point is, you did good work. We're doing a lot of space, all right? It's just, we're going to space. We're in the stars. This is nice, and then like meteor, falling star dances, the comets. All of this towards the end of the first season, by the way. It's like I know you're reaching for the stars, but that's saying something here. This is doing it. All right.
And it's like the Code Geass says hi,
Hey.
and LEB says, "Boys," or "Come on, boys, lads, guys."
Yep.
All right. So, are we done with the message, Dragon?
Yeah, I think we are. Yeah.
All right. So naturally, this episode is okay. Yeah. Of course, it begins as most episodes do with the boys on listen to the radio under the tree.
Yep. Tuned into 9.1 exposition.
Yes, with the girls' choice dance, which is very similar to the Sadie Hawkins dance, which I'm sure some of you probably have heard of.
Yeah, it's essentially just kind of a takeoff of the Sadie Hawkins dance. Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Code Geass agrees. Like, it'd be cool if Disney made a complete series out of this show, but with Disney Plus, it's less likely. Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, DLC. So the night of the Falling Stars girls' choice dance.
Yes, like. In all honesty, though, I do think girls should take the initiative more often. not
Really?
just at Sadie Hawkins, but just in general.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we can't turn water into gold, but yeah.
That is true.
Anyway.
And of course, it turns out Danville's gone star crazy with everything, and Lauren's bought the boys and Candace a new star.
Okay, so I love this premise, especially with Lawrence. I love the idea because I think people really have done this sort of thing, and it's also like it was a novelty back then, but then it just kind of became like this became like a novelty to the point of like it's sort of like a cheapo gift. It's like I don't know if you ever saw Jake. How familiar are you with Seinfeld?
I'm not familiar with Seinfeld. I'm not really, but I have heard of the whole buying stars.
Well, that's the thing. So buying stars in Seinfeld, their pseudo Christmas episode Festivus, which is a made up holiday that is designed for
Festivus for the rest of us.
Bingo, that one. So with Festivus in that episode, George Costanza, he not as part of Festivus, but just kind of it blends into the Festivus later on. George Costanza, he does the alternative thing is in the similar vein of the star, which people also do. So like a piece of the rainforest or a tree has been planted in your name, or like a donation has been made in your name. Essentially, the whole we've done like a little piece of paper saying, oh yeah, something important here. In this case, you are buying real estate, but real estate no one in theory can feasibly ever get to and actually own. One could say we're appropriating the cosmos, but let's not get political here.
Yeah, I mean, and then who knows how official that actually would be when looking at it in legal terms.
Part of me just wants to see the end of Lilo and Stitch, and it's kind of the Americans. We had like the intergalactic kind of law that gets observed here, where it's like, okay, so we're going to take a prisoner, but he has been adopted by a kennel.
And I think that, and honestly, we all know that was just the Grand Councilman just having a change of heart.
Anyway. Well, I know that, but I like the fact that there was like it does raise the question though, where it seemed like I know she did warm up to the idea, but still, there's like a thing like they did buy into the whole mosquito thing.
Yeah, that is.
You gotta wonder how much of this they are actually observing these things at face value. So it's a question of like, well, they bought a star, so I guess they own it.
Well, I mean, in this case, they definitely do become owners of, and they actually do find the star that they bought.
So because now, also here's something we should address again with the summer setting of Phineas and Ferb. Clearly, as I believe the last episode demonstrated, the last episode was a science fair episode, right?
Yeah.
As the last episode demonstrated, we have to come up, and Phineas and Ferb, because of the summer setting, we have to come up with creative ways to do things that are not set during the summer. Like Swinter, for example, or like a school science fair, which of course we do through summer school, which again, you kind of question, like, would there be, I already questioned the 17 schools that Baljeet is, 17 courses.
Yeah.
That Belgium is taking, but regardless, just the fact that we have to come up with creative ways to, okay, well, how are we going to have a school dance? Well, we can't do a school dance.
I mean, to be fair, as you're about to say, dances. There are dances and parties outside of school.
That's true, but I'm just saying, like, usually Sadie Hawkins dance, that's a school-related thing. So here we've kind of taken that, we've blended into kind of more of like a town square hootenanny thing, which is turned into, like, the whole star craziness. Like, it's kind of a, it's very 50s-esque, one could say. It's very much like, we have like a gimmick ball kind of going on, like a kind of a gimmicky hoedown.
And you can say the city's just capitalizing on the star craze.
Exactly. So, of course, he's looking at it as like the Oklahoma land rush of 1889.
And of course, like as Linda points out, those corny references are what made me fall from in the first place.
Aww.
Like, I just love their
Yeah, I love her. I love that Linda. She's wonderful.
the relationship with, especially the relationship with Lawrence.
Yep.
Like, he's just so wholesome, you know what I mean?
It is. No, it is indeed. Like, they're antiquing. It's the most mundane couple you've ever seen, but God, I love them.
Yeah, and meanwhile, their sons are doing all these crazy shenanigans.
Yeah. All right, so talking great premise that the boys end up on one of those stars.
And of course, naturally, when they realize they're the proud owners of a brand new star, they decide to just, go visit it themselves.
Which again is such a pure idea, just steeped in childhood fantasy. It's just great.
I mean, if let's just say your parents came to you as like a 10-year-old kid, like, you own a star now. It's like, oh great, I want to go see it.
Oh yeah.
It's like, and then of course, like, you probably get like a telescope to try and find it. It's like, hey, that's my star.
Yep.
But these boys go one step beyond.
So we have the NASA training montage.
Yep. What did you make of that? Like, let's take a rocket ship to space.
Yeah, it's fun that we're seeing like them doing the G-force training and everything at Buford's help.
It's like running on the giant hamster wheel. Buford, as he said, doing the G-force training. Like, and a lot of people like theorize that the reason they actually showed like the three failures of the rockets is to highlight like the trials and tribulations actual scientists went through to get it to work.
Which is good. No, what I love about this too is it feels very freakazoid in terms of like we're using like we're cutting to the live action footage for a gag, which many times it did. Like when we needed like a fill in for footage, like Gutierrez is showing. Oh, look at my favorite bloopers. My favorite clips. Like it's just a duck, Gutierrez. Like, no, my friend, it's much more than a duck. It's a man in a duck suit. Or Morris, I think probably the proper example is like Oops Insurance, where you have arms akimbo. Like it's like Oops, and we kind of cut to a montage like live action footage of like a building blowing up. Remember, his whole thing is he uses long bent elbows to knock things over, so somehow this correlates to a live action explosion.
How many times have you brought up Freakazoid when we talk about this?
Many times.
Yeah, that is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying. It's just somehow we always find some way to bring up Freakazoid when we talk about this show.
Yep.
It's like, and the funny thing is, a lot of like the math stuff is actually not too far off. Like the Tsiolkovsky rocket equation is actually pretty much referenced on there. Like a lot of real world rocket physics is referenced on their whiteboard.
And of course, the way they end up cracking this in real life with those rockets. And I imagine this is going to be a scene that's going to be somewhat represented in the Oppenheimer movie coming out this month. It's going to be we draw a bomb in the little equation area, but then we get the idea, like, you know what? We're going to erase that bomb, and we're going to draw a little smiley face. It's all going to work out nicely.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can't wait to see that scene in the Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, that comes out in just like 21 days, right? Like.
Well, a little less than that because it comes out on the 21st. But
oh right, I thought it came out on the 28th.
No, it's 21st. Technically the 20th. If you want to be all specific, but
So pretty much 2 weeks from now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know Oppenheimer's equations famously include a smiley face.
Yeah, well, that's how you know it works, Jacob.
Of course,
Hey,
yeah.
Come on. And what are you expecting to do? Like those skull and crossbones? No one's gonna use that equation.
No, of course not.
Duh.
Yep.
Anyway,
Speaking of which, I actually saw the IMAX film canister thing. That thing's huge.
but you saw one of the cameras up close?
No, the canisters, the actual thing they stored the film in.
Well, you saw the cameras they use for that sort of thing.
Yeah, IMAX cameras are huge.
That's what I'm saying. That's why, so logically, the film would be huge.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, holy crap.
I just feel so bad for Nolan's cameraman.
Well, I'm sure he gets paid good.
Well, not necessarily. It's just a cameraman. You don't know how much cameraman gets paid.
I don't know. Cinematographers, they have a hard job.
That's what I'm saying. They get a hard job. Doesn't mean they get big money. Just get big cameras.
Yeah, that is true.
All right.
But anyway, after a nice montage and very pleasant song, I might add,
Mm-hmm.
it's like. Meanwhile, Candace is having her own issues.
Yes, of a planetary destruction variety. So, Candace, again, per the whole tradition of the Sadie Hawkins stance that we're operating on here, she's asking Jeremy, that boy next door, that Jeremy,
And of course, he goes to the mall, asks him to go. He's like, "Let go with you," and then he starts laughing. Then everybody around him starts laughing. The entire mall starts laughing, and then the earth blows up.
And that's the end of Phineas and Ferb. It was a short episode, more than promised. But yeah, and actually that's part of the gritty reboot too. The gritty reboot is like there's no and but, it just ends there.
Gritty reboot, short gritty reboot too.
Yeah.
Well, that does it. But obviously that was just Candace's imagination.
Yeah. Now this is priceless, though. Again, the wonderful Kelly Who is Stacy, and this is Stacy's reaction. I know Kelly Who obviously didn't model for this moment, but I do love just the look on Stacy's face in reaction to hearing this ridiculous thing from Candace. Like, you can't. I don't think the Earth's gonna blow up.
He's like, you do realize it's a worst case scenario, right?
Exactly. That's the line. Yeah. Love that.
It's like, yeah, I mean, sometimes they do record their lines before they record it, so they record their lines before they animate, so they very well could have gotten a bit of.
No, I know. Yeah, that's how it works. Where they're going to record the actors like doing the thing. I'm just saying in this case, I don't know.
But what I was saying is, like, sometimes they do something called ADR, where they do scratch or temporary voices forced to get the animation, and then have the voice actors match the inflection.
Yeah, so we don't have any way of specifically knowing in this case, but yeah.
Exactly. It's like so naturally Stacy tries to get her to call her again, call Jeremy again. Don't man the phone, girl, phone the man.
It's a good line. It's a good line, Kelly Who. You nailed it, man. Yeah.
Yep, so what does she do? She dials the number again. Stacy, I can't do it.
Yeah. Okay, meanwhile, there's another girl who's trying to ask. There's another girl standing in front of a boy trying to ask him to a dance.
Oh yeah, you can definitely be certain that she has a varying degrees of success.
Yes. So Isabella
finally bringing to the forefront her crush on Phineas.
Yep.
It's like where she's the one trying to ask him to the dance. Always getting interrupted.
Yep, and she's interrupted by a The Right Stuff montage. Well, no, sorry, not a montage. A The Right Stuff reference.
It's like, the first thing she gets interrupted by is the waivers. like is that some liability waivers? Sure thing. It's like, gotta get those.
Let me ask this: is there a Phineas and Ferb episode where it ends up being Phineas and Ferb go to court?
Well, I mean, remember in previous episodes they did mention to be on the city council.
I know they're on the city council, but have they actually been like, "Hey, these waivers aren't notarized. Like, no one signed these."
Like, as far as I mean, there are episodes that take place in court, but it involves Doofenshmirtz.
Really, we take Doofenshmirtz, but never these kids. We never took them to trial.
Nope. As far as I know, as far as I can remember, no.
Having like a nightmare thing or anything? Like Candace having a fantasy? No, not again. Nothing.
Yeah, like I said, not that I can remember. Like I said, the closest I remember one time Doofenshmirtz was called to be on a jury of one of his peers. That's the closest thing I can remember.
Are you telling me we give Doofenshmirtz jury duty.
Yes.
I can't wait for that.
It's pretty good.
I am beyond hyped for that.
Like one of his evil scientist friends is in trouble, and he's called to like be testify as one of his peers.
Okay.
And of course, Ellie is like, Green Reboot Jug has really been exploded. So sad.
All right. So let's see. So we have this. Here's a mini rant for the episode. It's not a rant. It's an observation, but it's like it's kind of an animation related thing. So we have this reference to the right stuff, in which you have Phineas, Ferb, and Carrie and Perry in a little cute little spacesuit. And they all look good in the spacesuits. However, they don't look. Yep.
I think I know you're going with this.
They don't look good in this shot, though.
Like mainly, I've been guessing it's like you didn't want to see front-facing Phineas.
No, it was like a thing. Back when Family Guy was good, Seth MacFarlane would kind of like gave voice to this for me, where he pointed out the whole thing. Like when you look at the characters dead on, there's like this weird thing in animation where, especially in 2D animation, where when you look at them straight on instead of like a 3/4, where basically 3/4 essentially is like slightly turned, like a 3/4 angle.
Yeah.
So that's basically a 3/4 angle. Like for example, what you're seeing right now in our main image, that's essentially a 3/4 angle with the turn to the side.
Yeah.
Still emphasize they're forward, just like slightly turn to the side, or they basically like that. It's like slightly the body might be slightly turned more forward. Anyway, fact is, in a show like this, when these characters are very shape inspired in the face,
yeah.
that problem you already have in animation is going to be magnified tenfold. So when Phineas is looking in this shot forward, his head looks all sorts of wrong. It's like, oh man, I can't unsee that now. It's like that's at least Ferb is like, okay, at least you can see the shape is still kind of represented, even though it's still a little off too. But Phineas, dear God. Arnold only had a problem when Arnold had the reverse. When Arnold was turned to the side, which they never really did, like only when he was like, if you told Arnold from Hey Arnold to stand still and you walk to the side where his ear was, then you'd have quite the whoa. That's it. That's something there. That's I don't need to see that again. That's
another thing.
Spiral right there.
Yeah, that's another thing that keeps getting brought up in this show.
Well, that one's actually for good reason because Pop-Meyer.
Yeah, I know.
Bobby.
And also did work on Family Guy, as you mentioned.
I know, yeah. So there's a little bit of correlation there this time as well. So apparently, yeah, he left by the time they were really probably really getting on to that, because that's when they had all sorts of angles to factor in, especially when some shots they would incorporate a little bit of a CG modeling sort of thing. So not computer animation full on, but just like sometimes like CG cars and stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, sometimes having CG cars that they can just reuse is probably a good money saver.
That is true. It is a money saver, but sometimes it is jarring.
I mean, I know. I mean, like,
I'm saying in general, and sometimes, like for example, even like some of the DC original animated movies, at times they can pretty much transfer over the digital vehicles for the ease of car chases. But anyway.
And to be fair, it depends on the quality of the CG too.
True.
I mean, I think this episode actually got away with pretty good CG.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
All right.
Anyway, so point being, after the right stuff gag, we have one of the Fireside Girls with the deep voice doing the countdown.
Yeah, and then, as it turns out, something was in her throat. Like 2, 1, ignition. That's actually Gretchen. Her name's Gretchen.
Ah, yes, Gretchen.
I think Ariel Winter actually voices her. I think.
Really?
Yep, I believe so.
Carrie Kelly herself.
Yep. Let me. I don't know. She was one of the voices at least. Let me see. Yep, it was Ariel Winter.
Yeah.
She's actually one of the few ones to remain as the same voice actress for for respective character throughout the entire show.
Okay. So. Okay, let's see. So, again, Isabel's trying to ask Phineas to dance. Good luck. They get in the rocket, and the rocket needs a jump start. Given the fact we saw all those rockets blow up during the montage, they're lucky that's what happened.
Yep. just need a little quick jump start.
Yep. So then Candace ends up getting launched into space. Honestly, this whole premise, this whole Candace getting this portion of the premise, Candace getting launched into space, it's a little bit of a takeoff of kind of the old kind of launch comedy in which it's like Abbott and Costello they end up going to Mars, like, and essentially it's something like tantamount to that, or it's like sort of like a silly old comedy premise of like everyone was out to lunch. Someone thought they said launch.
Which is
Sorry, the other one was everyone. We thought they said lunch. They ended up saying launch.
Which, of course, this episode.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep.
So yeah, Candace accidentally gets launched alongside Perry into space.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, Candace, what's going on? I can't hear you. My cheeks are covering my ears.
Yeah.
I just love that. I just like that gag.
Yep. Anyway, she's launched into space and she's freaking out and she's pushing all the buttons. So she's stranded there. She's in kind of like an Apollo. Was it Apollo 13?
Yes, the movie. Yes.
I keep getting 11 and 13 always jumbled up. So 13's the one that was stranded.
Yeah, to be fair, I get that messed up too.
I think because 11 was like the actual, 11 was the actual one to do the moon landing, right?
Yes.
That's what I think. Okay, so 11's the moon landing, 13's the launch, and Challenger's the one that blows up.
Unfortunately.
I know, very sadly, but
Challenger and Columbia were the ones that blew up.
Yeah.
That's very. I don't know how true this is, but I think the superstition is like they don't name the Challenger any of the rocket ships after letters beginning with C anymore because of that.
Wait, get out of here! Really?
Like I said, that was like an urban legend I heard.
Okay.
Like I said, don't quote me on that, but it's an urban legend. And as far as I know, no major rocket ships after the Challenger and Columbia have been named with a word beginning with C.
Yeah. By the way, a couple fun facts. Well, oh god, this is a horrible way for it. A couple of facts about the Challenger.
Yeah, not a fun one.
No, God, no. Big Bird was initially selected to be on the Challenger, but thank goodness they opted not to send Carol Spinney into space because the whole thing is the costume would have been too cumbersome. That's why they ended up sending Big Bird into space. So thank goodness. At least small victories.
Yeah, it's like as tragic as the whole thing is.
Yeah. Secondly, in the second season of Kidding, the Jim Carrey show, which I'm always head over heels for, and it got, let me this way, folks. Sadly, it got canceled, didn't get picked up for more, but it did have a really good ending. So you do get a complete story with the series in 2 seasons. In the second season, I won't tell you how because I want to encourage all of you to watch this show because it's really good. Second season, they relate a big part of Jim Carrey, kind of the Mr. Jim Carrey basically playing a takeoff on Mr. Rogers. Playing this before the Challenger explosion plays into the formation of the Mr. Rogers persona from the Jim Carrey character, actually, which is really interesting.
Huh. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
That's slightly more fun than the other fact.
Yeah.
But still, I'm guessing quite tragic.
Yep. So let's see. So point being, Candace is trapped. Let's see. So we have. Oh, here's my favorite gag, by the way. When we go into space.
Yeah.
I love this parking space running gag.
It's like when the. I mean, I love that too. Like when
bad enough this happens on Earth.
Like when the sedan or the car gets like separated from the rocket and lands on the space station,
right in front of the astronauts who are about to pull in. Like, it's bad enough this happens on Earth.
It's bad enough it happens on Earth. Now space. I mean, to be fair, that would be something to be quite frustrated with.
So, you're probably wondering, how the heck are we going to get Perry the Platypus plot line when he's all the way in space? But Major Monogram, he calls, and we have Jake talking about the great gag, we go Monogram.
Well, of course, we see, well, first off, it's revealed that Perry actually works for the government, which isn't a gag, but it's a pretty interesting reveal.
Is it that much of a reveal? Did we always just assume like Alka's just not? It's got to work. They got to work for somebody, Jacob.
I know, but it's like, it actually makes it's official here.
Right.
And of course, like he's like, well, we'll contact the president. Wow, you're already in space. You are always one step ahead, Agent P.
Yeah. So we need to get you into space, but we don't have the money.
He's like, due to budget cuts.
Due to budget cuts.
Yeah, but he's already in. But Perry's already. Fortunately for him, Perry's already in space.
You know what that budget cut was, Jacob?
What was the budget cut?
They had to fire Carl.
Yeah, I was like, well, he didn't let. Well, remember, he's not paid anyway. He's an unpaid intern.
Unpaid intern, right?
So firing him wouldn't actually do anything.
Now here's the thing. Now here's what happened. Okay, it's a not so gritty reboot. But let's throw up the thing.
Throw up the thing. All right, this one.
Yeah. Well, no, I was thinking. No, I mean,
okay.
I'm gonna mention Carl. We don't really need the chart. I just meant the banner for gritty reboot time.
Right. Sorry.
Okay. So, Monogram has had it with Carl, but so what he wants to do is like, okay, I don't want to see him, but I don't want him to come back, So I'm just gonna say, well, Carl, due to budget cuts, we have to let you go. Really? Just I'm sorry, Carl. We don't have the money to keep you on anymore. Oh, okay, and he leaves, and of course, probably it was half the way outside the building. He shows up, he releases but wait, I'm unpaid. I can stay. And Monogram's like, oh god, I was rid of him for 5 minutes. He was gone for 5 minutes. And his Monogram he's just. That's great, Carl. It's so good. We could keep you on. Let's why don't you just go back to your duties, and I'll be back after lunch. He just goes to a bar and he's just drinking I don't know what I'm gonna do with this Carl guy. Oh god, what am I doing with my life? Oh god, I need more platypi or platypeople. You know what I mean? I need more.
You know what I mean.
Maybe if I took that, maybe if I asked Agent P to take his hat off, maybe give him some glasses, maybe he'd reconsider some reassignment. I don't know.
Barry's not an unpaid intern. He actually does get paid.
Yeah, that's why he hasn't done that, though. Monogram's like, then I'd have to pay him. Right, anyway, getting back on point with our story. So, Harry Platypus in space.
Then of course, because Doofenshmirtz is also in space.
One could say, Doofenshmirtz in space.
Yes.
So we have. Let's talk about Doofenshmirtz's vehicle, Jacob. Let's talk about his space station.
Yep, it's basically a giant robot kind of guy, basically a torso with very long arms and big hands, and kind of a face modeled after him.
I mean, I don't know.
It has the pointy nose.
It does have the pointy nose, but I saw it initially. I was looking like, I wonder if it's gonna look like Doofenshmirtz. I looked and it's like, no, it just has a pointy nose.
Yeah, I mean, it has some of his features.
Let me ask you: do you think should we have given this thing a head, or I know it's I don't know, just given the purpose and the functionality of this thing, do we really need a head on it?
Well, if it's just a torso with arms, I mean, I think it would be kind of weird to not have a head.
Well, true. I don't think we necessarily need to strive for realism. I mean, imagine Doofenshmirtz at a certain point is going to operate on a budget. It's like, why am I building a head for this? No one's going to see it. It's all the way in space.
I mean, like I said, why would you just build a torso either? I mean, like I said, maybe he just thought it completed the look, or maybe
the arm's got to be connected to something, Jacob.
Or maybe he just built it for logistic purposes, or he thought, maybe this thing does need a head after all.
All right, anyway. So, Jacob, tell him why we have a torso in space with arms.
Well, not giant arms, Dragon, giant hands.
Exactly. Why?
It's like, the reason is it's another tragic backstory, because back when he was younger, he used to be a master of shadow puppets. Basically impressing people.
Really impress the Fraulines.
And impressing Fraulines, of course.
Oh, yeah.
But of course...
Doofenshmirtz, the ladies' man.
Oh, yeah. So of course, So of course, Huge Hands Hans, a local bully, came around, and while his shadow puppets were garbage, like people loved him because of his big hands, and he even stole his Fraulein.
Jacob.
Lost her to a man with bigger fingers.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. So I guess the first thing to kind of unpack is like, hey, theory time. Who's ready for some theory time?
Yes, theory time.
Big Hands Hans.
Yes.
Hans from SpongeBob.
Oh yeah.
The giant pair of hands from SpongeBob.
Oh Hans. Technically another Dan connection. He worked on that
I
show
know.
too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It's like Huge Hands Hans. Although who knows? I don't know if this Huge Hands Hans actually went into the Navy or anything.
Nah, we don't know what he does. You know,
I mean that is true.
he could have an interest in marine biology. You don't know.
That is true.
Yeah. Who were we to put Huge Hand Hans in a box, man? In a hand-shaped box, a glove box. Who are we to put him in a glove box?
Yep. Of course.
How dare you glove his hands, Jacob? Shame.
Or as Code Geass as Prince Hans from Frozen.
There you go. Well, I don't know about that.
Well, that Hans didn't have luck with Fraulines.
He didn't. No. Well, he had to look for outlines, and then she tried to kill him with ice. But you know.
Well, I mean, yeah, that is. Like I said, at the end, he didn't have luck.
Nope. In the springtime, you get the Biff Tannen treatment.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so let's see. Anyway, so the other thing with Han, so again, just again the fact that in the writing we're able to have we're having some tongue-in-cheek humor there about the whole intimidated by the hand size.
It's like bigger fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could tell they were having a bit of fun with that one.
They are. Indeed. So I just love the fact that chicks dig shadow puppets.
Yep, chicks dig shadow puppets. Like some of them dig giant robots, some of them also dig shadow puppets.
I gotta tell you, I was just watching some clips from Megas last week after I watched this episode.
Nice. Now that's a coincidence.
Yeah.
Was it because of this or just a coincidence?
I think honestly it's because I saw half the giant robot in space. I mean, man, I want Megas right now.
It's like I really need to get to that show. Like
I tell you, man, it's such a delightful. I love Megas XLR so much. I would have killed for a figurine of Megas itself, but it costs like an arm and a leg to get one.
and it's not on HBO Max or anything either.
No.
It's hard. It's a very hard show to actually find.
I had bought like a DVD set of it, but it was like it's like a burn copy, but it's in like a little nice container, but it's not like a Shout Factor and it's ridiculous, but it's such a great show.
Cartoon Network really keeps it buried.
Also has Bruce Campbell in it for 2 episodes.
Ooh,
and guess what? You know what the best part is?
What's the best part?
Bruce Campbell in both appearances.
Yeah.
He's a MODOK.
He's a MODOK.
So he's a giant. He literally Bruce Campbell's iconic chin is just a floating head with tiny little baby legs, little arms, and with Elvis hair.
That is fantastic. Was that before or after Bubba Hotep?
It was after Bubba Hotep.
Oh, so Megas XLR came out after Bubba Hotep?
Yeah, it was after Bubba Hotep, yeah.
Oh, what do you know?
I mean, look, I'm pretty sure Megas XLR was like early 2000s, and Bubba Hotep was, I believe, was it like late 90s, or was it? I can't remember when Bubba Hotep came out.
But I thought Bubba Hotep. Bubba Hotep came out in 2002.
Okay, actually, you know what? Okay, so 2002, it might have been, God, Megas was... Okay, the latest Megas could have been was 06. So, I mean, it's probably 03.
Sorry, go on.
Well, do you want to look it up? Do you want to see when Megas happened? When Megas came out?
Yes, but according to Code Geass, CN show was written off as a financial failure, so they're not allowed to do much with it. Yeah, that's a shame.
Curse you, Zaslav!
Well, technically, that was long before Zaslav.
Oh. Curse you, faceless network executive!
And Megasex Lower was 2004.
Ah, well, still afterwards then.
Yeah, I just didn't know when Bubba Hotep came out.
Yeah.
I think so. I was like, either it was oddly prophetic or a neat shout out.
Yep.
But either way, back to the episode
Right.
at hand.
So, let's see. So again, Doofenshmirtz again. So he's in this. Here's the thing. Doofenshmirtz's plot. He's not hurting anyone. Not hurting anyone at all. He's just creating shadow puppets on the moon. That's all he's doing. It's a stupid plan because no one's going to know it's him. It's just going to be shadow puppets on the moon.
But to be fair, Perry only did go into action when he started threatening the family.
That is true.
He didn't actually go for Doofenshmirtz or anything until after it was clear that he was going after the rocket ship that Phineas, Ferb, and Candace were in.
So there's got to be a certain point in Phineas and Ferb where Monogram is going to say, "Stop Doofenshmirtz from doing this," and just Perry Plaza is going to nod or just not give him anything. He's not going to go anywhere. He's just going to nod like, "No, I'm not doing it." It's like, well, what do you mean? Doofenshmirtz is out there. He's like, thinking like, no, his plan's not going to hurt anyone. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be petty, but it's not going to hurt anyone. So I don't know what you want me to do here, Monogram. I'm not doing it. I'm not going anywhere. Find someone else. Put an armadillo in a hat. I don't care. I'm not doing it.
But then,
yep. Anyway, so then as a Doofenshmirtz here, basically he's starting the process until I guess we should probably build to that because we'll check back in with the Doofenshmirtz plot a little later on. But we should mention that Perry Platypus is essentially frozen in carbonite. In this case, the carbonite is
ice cube tray,
which I thought was really fun.
It's you could basically this is an early showing that Dan and Swumby are big fans of Star Wars.
Really, get out of here.
Yeah, it's kind of obvious, but
yeah,
considering the multitude of Star Wars references in this episode alone.
Yep. So we go to
especially with Phineas saying just like Baker's Canyon back home.
Yep.
Which is a more blatant shout out than really anything else in this episode.
Yep. So we go to my favorite part of the episode here. So the boys they need fuel, so they go to a nearby asteroid.
What happens is they do run out of fuel after rescuing Candace.
Yeah.
But then they're floating in the void of space, and they see something bright.
Now, by the way, that bright kind of blinding light thing, I'm pretty sure is a nod to Star Trek.
Star Trek, yeah, probably Star Trek, and there's all kinds of space media references.
I was saying there's I can't remember, but there's a famous episode of Star Trek where it's the big, and they can tell by the way they broke up the episode because they do a commercial break and they come back to it. That's what Star Trek did for their 2-part. You have this big thing where they're going to a blinding light and then they come out of it on the other side.
That. Yeah, there's also references obviously to Star Wars 2001, even Adventures of Tintin, things like that.
Yeah, well, sure. I'm just saying, with the space setting, Star Trek,
there's obviously a more blatant Star Trek reference at the end of this episode. It's the final frontier, baby.
Yep.
But yeah, I wouldn't doubt actually put that past them if that's more like a reference to Star Trek, maybe.
Right.
Plus, we're seeing the continuous issues of the guy of the space station. It's okay, I'm just going to give them a few more minutes.
All right. So they end up going to this asteroid, and on this meteor, what have you, they find the milkshake bar.
Yeah, so it turns out the star that they were being blinded by was just a very bright neon light.
I love this idea. So it's like the cantina from Star Wars, but it's also a little Kid Cosmic-esque. It's the idea of this. Just this milkshake, this old sock hop kind of diner set up just in, or a truck stop, or this little milkshake bar stand just out in the middle of the cosmos that Phineas and Ferb just kind of lucked their ways into, and basically because this is the real estate that the star inhabits. I do question the whole you're buying a star versus buying a meteor, but I mean it's in the vicinity, so I guess they technically own the land that the meteor is on. So I guess.
Well, Phineas said, like, wow, that sign is bright. Like
That's
everybody.
so what do you think? Is it the fact that makes it a star, the sign, or like what?
It's like whoever when they put it up, they probably thought it was a star.
Okay, so you think so? Basically, you're saying that he actually accidentally bought a meteor, thinking it was a star.
I mean, it's entirely possible, yeah.
Right. Okay, well there you go.
And of course, like some people also saw that's like the whole milkshake thing is a reference to like the restaurant at the end of the universe from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
It's like the funny thing is I've never actually read the books. I don't think I've even seen the movie.
I think the gag's at the end of the movie too. I'm pretty sure it's in there.
But yeah, it turns out Phineas and Ferb are the brand new owners of an intergalactic milkshake bar.
So they fix up the place and it becomes Phineas and Ferb's.
Oh yeah.
And it's awesome, man. It's like Johnny Rockets literalized. I love it.
Yeah, but like there used to be Johnny Rockets near where I live. It's no longer around where.
Did you ever go to one?
Yeah, I went to one all the time. There was like one close to my grandma's house.
Did they sing while you're in there?
Oh yeah, like you put the nickel in the little jukebox on your table. Selected the song, and sometimes the waiters would come out and sing.
Nice.
One time I was even got up there and sing and dance with them.
Okay.
It was fun. Like they always did the smiley face with the ketchup and everything. It was. I missed that place. Now it's like a coffee place or something.
See, when I went to Atlantic City, there's Johnny Rockets there, and it's been forever since I've been to Atlantic City. But I miss it. I miss the Johnny Rockets.
I mean, I do too. It's like I've never been to a Johnny Rockets in forever. I know there's still some around somewhere, but I would love to go back to one. They used to go there all the time. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
But doing this is like I never even equated it to Johnny Rockets, but now that you think about it, yeah, it's just great.
Yep. All right, so so also, how great looking are the milkshakes?
The milkshakes do look pretty dang good.
Yeah, they do. Like, move over Grimace Shake, man.
It's like, well, it's a different purple shake is in town.
I know, right? Yeah, this is a Thanos shake, kids. Just imagine this, like Thanos is about to, I'm gonna wipe out half the inhabitants of this bar, and he just shows up. Just give me a milkshake before I do a thirsty work.
Here, try this milkshake.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I should rethink things. Maybe I shouldn't wipe out half the universe. Is pretty good.
Yeah, that's how T'Challa convinced him not to not to destroy half the universe in that one What If episode.
Yeah.
Milkshakes.
Oh yeah.
I still claim that I still think it wouldn't be that easy if just T'Challa's like, hey, you know what? Just stop. Okay.
I don't know. He's a smooth talker, that T'Challa.
I mean, he is, but I don't know if it'd be that easy to convince Thanos.
Who just said it was easy? Probably had a long conversation about it.
Okay, that is fair.
We don't know what happened off screen.
That is true.
Yeah.
But like I said, those do look like pretty dang good milkshakes. So.
And so, also, I like that we addressed the whole breathable air thing on this place. I like that they acknowledge that, because we do have this thing where we see people put their heads out of the spacesuits and the heads swell up.
Yeah, that happens like a couple times in this episode.
I don't know how I feel about that effect, by the way, because I know it's accurate and it's kind of a way of like not killing them instantly when they go into space. But I don't know. One, it's a reference to. I'm pretty sure it's a reference to Total Recall.
I mean, technically you can survive like a little bit out there if you hold your breath. But I mean, it's not technically taking your helmet off. Obviously, it's not advised, but it's not instant death.
Well, I know. We kind of learned that from Guardians of the Galaxy, Jacob. Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying. And obviously, they're not. Obviously, a small asteroid like that is not going to have asteroid like that is obviously not going to have an atmosphere or oxygen levels like Earth.
Exactly. It's a leap.
So obviously, there's some artistic license, but it is. But they did bring it up.
It's a show with a platypus in a spacesuit. I think we can give them a leap.
Platypus in a spacesuit.
Yep.
I think LEB says, I would drink the Thanos shake if it was real. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. Yeah, you know what people would say about it?
What would they say about it?
It's perfectly balanced.
As all things should be.
Yep, it's part of a perfectly balanced
diet.
Diet.
It's like What would be in it? What would be in it anyway?
You know, Thanos would be the perfect advertiser because he could always use that line no matter what. Like it's part of perfectly balanced breakfast. You know, so Thanos would be the ultimate cereal mascot, and inside your box of
I mean,
Infinity O's, you know, you get inside the box of Infinity O's,
Infinitos.
Infinitos.
That
You
just
get
sounds.
you get the Thanos copter. You get the Thanos copter.
That's the prize that comes in the box.
That's what I mean. It's the prize that comes in the box.
Yep.
You I actually have one of those.
You have a Thanos copter?
Yeah, and it comes in a little infinity cube, the little cosmic cube.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Like, bring back the Thanos copter, cowards.
Well, remember, it's in Loki.
I know. He said that's why I said bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring back the Thanos copter, you cowards.
You know, one of the things, it'd be perfect. We saw, like in What If or something, we saw Thanos driving the Thanos copter.
That would be great.
That multiverse looked like.
Thanos copter.
Yeah, here's my theory. Thanos basically used the Infinity Stones. I need a way to get out of here, and he creates the Thanos copter and gets into it.
I mean, he could do that with the Reality Stone.
That's what I'm saying. He did. I'm saying he would have done that.
He's like, what could I make with this? I know. I saw those cool. I saw those vehicles on Earth. What were they called?
I don't care what they're called. I know what they're called now. Thanos copter.
Yes. Anyway.
So so let's see. So Candace, she has a solution to her dating woes. To her dance asking woes. What happens?
It's like so. What happens is like she actually comes across somebody who's having difficulty with asking somebody out. But then she convinces him to do so, which turns out to be easier than he thought because the girl's literally attached to him.
Yep, kind of a conjoined twin situation.
Which does raise a few questions, but
yeah, we should throw the message up again.
Oh boy.
Dan, Swampy, boys, I think something slipped past network sensors that maybe shouldn't have. Now that I think about it. Guys, what are we saying here? That the living situation is between these two heads because I'm not a scientist. You know, I'm not a scholarly man, you would say, but it does occur to me that we all watch Cat Dog. You know what? In Cat Dog, they were very firmly brothers. You know, being born like that, kind of like joined at the hip. So it does beg the question. Did Dan and Swampy present intergalactic incest?
I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird alien thing.
I would like to think it's a weird alien thing. I'm going to choose to believe that. I just want to acknowledge, guys. Maybe that one we should have like scratched your heads, like, it's a cute gag, but when you think of it, like, I'm gonna date myself. I'm gonna date the other side of my head somehow. I'm gonna ask her to a dance. I'm like, how's that? I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought we'd have this kind of conversation on this show.
I mean, you opened the door for it, but yeah, it's.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, but I mean, it's kind of hard not to talk about in this sense.
Yep. All right. Anyway, so it's moving on from there. I love this. So we have this great delivery by Phineas here. Like, so Candace.
Like, well, Code Geass does point this out.
Well, that's true, but that's still that's a narcissism thing. That makes sense for him.
Yes.
He's a narcissist, though.
All right.
Yeah. I'd say, look, I mean, there's a term for that. It's kind of a crass term. We don't have to call it that, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you could call it.
Yep. One thing we can say, though, is that Loki's got a high opinion of himself.
Yep, I've heard of you can definitely love yourself very much. Something that also happened in an episode of Rick and Morty that we covered.
Yep.
It's like, so the less said about that, the better in this case.
Yep.
I mean, mainly because it has nothing to do with this episode. Ironically, though, it does have to do with space. Now that I think about it.
Yes.
What is with all this space stuff?
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. That's the same
I mean,
question I'm asking.
They said, what is it with space things and being in love with alternate versions of yourself?
Jacob, it gets lonely in space.
Yeah, I know, but
Have you ever been stranded in space? You ever been Sandy Bullock in space, huh, buddy? You ever been like alone, adrift?
no, I've never been Gravity or Interstellar.
Okay.
I don't know if Interstellar has anything to do with that.
Not really. That's not exactly.
I know they're not stranded or anything, but they kind of.
Well, I mean, Interstellar is a little less space travel. It's a little more. Well, it starts off space travel, then it kind of becomes another thing. But
like time and time space.
Yeah, like hold the string, like reality. And well, anyway, let's not. No.
Another Christopher Nolan reference in this episode too.
Well, he's around the corner. We got to get him in there somewhere.
Yep.
Anyway. So, so again, the canister is like, oh, well, yeah, but Jeremy's not attached to the back of my head. It's not as easy.
Which is a good point.
True, and she storms off, and I love this. His face. I just meant, like, what did you think of the milkshake?
Like we never really do know what she thinks of the milkshake.
I'd like to think she liked it, but then again, these kids today, they have this whole meme of like the Grimace shake being lethal. So who knows?
Yeah. Well, this would probably be much better than the Grimace shake anyway. I mean, at least when they go to Phineas and Ferb's milkshake bar, you can guarantee that their ice cream machine isn't broken.
Yep. Or it's going to be like the thing from the Founder, where I know this is not technically the case anymore. In the Founder, it was like back in the day when they had the milkshake introduced, it was not made with actual milk.
Okay.
Well, you saw the Founder. You know how they did it, right?
I haven't seen the Founder.
Oh. Okay, well, the point being, the way the milkshakes are done, back in the day when they first introduced, to save money on refrigeration costs, back in the early days, there were no refrigerators. They got rid of the refrigerator so they wouldn't have to pay the fees for them and the power and everything. Instead, basically, have like an instant milkshake where you add water.
Okay.
To like a packet, and that's how you get the milkshake. So that's essentially what they used to do back at McDonald's, which I think, unfortunately, I think the Founder has kind of done, maybe justifiably, who knows, has done kind of like some bad PR, because I think some people have kind of divorced themselves from realizing that, well, now there's like a milk ice cream sort of thing going on there, but but just in the beginnings there was not like an actual ice cream milk component.
That is the movie with Michael Keaton, right?
That is, yes, and it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of it, and it's been on my watch list for a while.
I mean, I think it's still on Netflix. Jake, give it a watch.
I'll definitely do that soon.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so the thing is that McDonald's milkshakes, again, from what I understand, they pale in comparison to all the other proper milkshakes and stuff. But the fact is,
I mean, Dairy Queen.
No, yeah, of course.
Something that we also bring up a lot on this show.
I did try a slushie recently from Dairy Queen for the 4th of July, and I can tell you, I was hoping for a little more.
It's like I had like a Bob Pop. Like, he was like, I'm not a coward. I drink the powder. just the powder, or water or the water as well.
Be like that thing from SpongeBob, the whole I had a bowl of nails for breakfast without any milk.
Oh, right on. It's like, yeah, milk makes it any easier.
Well, of course, Jake. Have you ever tried to eat a bowl of nails without milk?
Yes.
Oh.
How do you think I got all my iron? I mean, you got to get iron in your diet, right?
Well, yeah. You also gotta get tetanus, but yeah.
They weren't rusted nails.
Well,
it'd be confirmed. Just the powder.
Oof, boy, that sounds awful. just awful.
Oh yeah. But yeah, but and of course the boys remember the reason why they came to the star in the first place, and to get rocket fuel. And if you think about it, like, this could actually be a good explanation to where they get all their money.
Well, they just found this place, though.
But they're the new owners. Like, they get some of the profits.
Oh yeah, going forward, I'm just saying we still have like a whole season's worth of episodes. Like, where do they get the money for this sort of stuff? And have to speculate about. Well, they probably may have made investments in their own city council. I mean, they probably charged admission that first episode.
Well, and who knows? Maybe they invested in the stock market.
I know, yeah.
Maybe they bought stocks in Lockheed Martin or something.
Of course, right now, at the moment, they're rolling in it with fuel, and they're probably selling it to the military and the government.
Of course.
So that's the thing. So apparently, on this in space, at least on this meteor, the rocket fuel is espresso,
It's like
imported espresso.
it's Arenado drinks, like only imported rocket fuel.
Yeah.
Grazie. It's like what you gotta, which is pretty. I mean, yeah. I mean, for all I know, it could well be actual rocket fuel that he drinks, and not just espresso.
Yeah.
I mean, don't drink rocket fuel, kids.
No, seriously, don't do it.
We're not doing, and that's not one of those things where it's like we're secretly trying to get you to do it. Like seriously, do not drink any kind of gasoline for that matter.
Unless it's in a wine bottle.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Sorry, so that's a very obscure. No, don't drink the rocket fuel at all. Don't do it.
All right, what is it a reference to then?
It's a really deep. It's like one episode of Get Smart.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's like unless it's like in a champagne bottle, chilled to the right temperature and aged to perfection.
Yeah.
All right, and basically don't drink rocket fuel when it comes out of a gas pump.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have our climax here. So we have our way home in the rocket. Oh, by the way, it's one of the shadows. Nice that the boys built canister rocket too.
Yeah, I mean that's how they got into space in the first place because she accidentally took theirs, and it's like it's a good thing we built a second rocket.
They really lucked out on that one. So,
Yep.
let's see. So Candace, let's see. So after she she learns her lesson and everything. So basically, they run to an issue.
It turns out she was talking on the camera phone when the battery was off.
So this, I mean, so Jay, what year did this come out? This episode,
Like 2008.
interesting. Oh man, that's really interesting because I had this episode come out in 2009. We could say they pulled this from Breaking Bad.
Then, well, I mean, yeah, the December 5th, 2008 was the Disney Channel premiere.
That's the thing. In Breaking Bad, of course, season 2, one of the best episodes of the series is 4 Days Out, in which Jesse leaves the keys in the ignition. Basically, runs the battery down for the RV, so they're stuck out in the boonies, in the hot Albuquerque desert without water, thanks to Jesse's idiocy.
I mean, a lot of the stuff from that show can be attributed to Jesse's idiocy.
Yeah, well, again, he got smarter as it went on. The first 2 seasons, you had Jesse's an idiot, though, so
Marginally smarter or actual smarter?
Actual smart, like he really, he actually, that's the thing, he really did smart enough. There's like an arc there. So he starts, season 1 is Jesse at his dumbest, and 2, he becomes an addict. Like an actual, he gets on heroin at a certain point. Not at the point where he makes these mistakes. I'm just saying, like, he kind of, his stupidity kind of escalates to drug use, and then he goes, but once he sobers up, he gets smart, is my point.
I really need to watch Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
More Breaking Bad. I've seen like half the first season.
Well, yeah, you got a lot of Breaking Bad to watch, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Anyway, so point being, the car they need a jump start, and they did not bring the starter because legally Phineas and Ferb, even in the outskirts of space here, they can't start a car. The starter was their legal loophole away from that. So,
the car actually got away from the space station because like the people on the ship, actually lifted it away, only for the spot to be taken by an alien in a UFO.
It's just funny.
He's like, "Oh, come on!"
I love that so much.
He's like, "I should get inside now." After his head swelled up.
As I'm saying, the head swelling up things I'm iffy on it, but it's
like Elliot be like, further proof that Breaking Bad is a sitcom in disguise.
Sure.
I mean, to be fair, Bryan Cranston does have sitcom experience.
That he does. As the Odenkirk.
Where was Odenkirk?
Well, Bob Odenkirk.
No, I mean, like, what sitcom was he in?
Well, I mean, he's popped up until he's popped in a whole bunch of like Seinfeld, for example. Of course, he did Mr. Show, which is not a sitcom, but it's a comedy show. So comedy and sitcoms, and
All right.
Yeah. And there are other examples. He was almost on The Office. I'm blanking on what some of the other guest spots he's had that would be relevant to sitcoms, but he's likely shown up in more than just
So,
just Seinfeld.
So before he became the lawyer man.
Yes, but fun fact again, both he and Bryan Cranston were on Seinfeld too. Both Albuquerque, number of Albuquerqueverse alumni, at least 3 minimum. You had Bob Odenkirk, you had Bryan Cranston on the regular, and then you have Anna Gunn.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder if Vince Gilligan was a fan of Seinfeld.
I mean, I like to think so, but no, it's not at least that's not why he cast Cranston. So.
I know, it's because of the episode of the X-Files.
Exactly. So that brings us to okay, so Candace has to go out there in the Earth spacesuit and they pump it.
It's basically, I love that. Let's just say I love like the interaction. They say, like, "Can't you guys just do this and just like whip up something and get us out of here?" And Ferb's just like, "Candace, we are just kids." Which
remind me of 4 Days Out from Breaking Bad, because there's this gag too where Jesse's like, well, can't you just science a way out of here? She's like with what, Jesse? And then we have like this thing where he's listing out some ideas, and then one of them was like this ridiculous, incredulous thing after he said the smart thing that inspired the ideas. It's like, that's it. We're gonna build a robot. He says it with conviction.
Is that like what? Is that considered like one of the comedy episodes?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, it's a series. It's a series. They are in the risk of dying out in the desert, but there's comedy in that episode. So
I know, but some episodes are like obviously more dramatic. Others are more comedy based.
Well, I wouldn't emphasize there being like a comedy episode.
I know, but there are episodes that are obviously funnier than others.
I mean, Fly is, I think, the exception to look for. Even then, Fly has a dramatic third act. So but yeah.
Ryan Johnson episode.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think the one you're probably looking for is the Better Call Saul episode is pretty comedic. So there you go. I guess that's what you're looking for.
Okay, fair.
Like literally the episode where he's introduced, like Better Call Saul.
It's like, let me just say, like, speaking of like Ferb and everything, like considering how he snuck up on Candace there, I think I could give Batman a run for his money.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like Ferb could probably sneak up on Batman.
Nah.
I mean, at least Ferb doesn't talk like Batman does.
Well, Batman doesn't have to talk. You choose it. You just be rude if you stood there and Gordon just did say anything to him.
I know, but I still think Ferb could sneak up on Batman.
Okay, look, I think Ferb could do it once. All right, he couldn't do it all regularly like Batman does. He could do it once.
Let's put it this way, Dragon. Once is all he needs.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Anyway, so yeah, it's like all this leads to like they see obviously they sense this giant power source, which they detect as their mom's car, which they see, but it turns out actually it's Doofenshmirtz, his robot.
Also, we remember the spacesuit gag with Candace, where like she has all this air pumped into it. So this spacesuit let my butt look big. Yes, it does. Then she kind of squashes it. She gets the big hands, which then Doofenshmirtz interprets as huge hand Hans. How did you? Here's something like I need to really say really reboot here, but it's the fact that Doofenshmirtz is trying to murder Candace here.
I know, like maybe not murder, but yeah, he's probably not going to do anything good.
That's the thing. I mean, he's got a lot of resentment towards Huge Hands Hans. I mean, one, there's just the fact he stole the Fraulein's from him. Two, there's he emasculated him.
Oh boy.
But, in innuendo, he emasculated him.
Okay. Yep.
Also, it's like even if he grabs him, I mean, the dead of space. I mean, you can barely easily kill him. There's no law in space.
Like there is a language in the sky, but no law in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like he can actually do some damage, and that's where Perry actually does leap into action, like when he actually is threatening harm.
Oh yeah.
It's like this is as I mentioned earlier, like this episode actually pays off. Like this is like a good example of it paying off all of his Chekhov's guns. like referencing these things that happen, like bringing up Huge Hands Hans and just bringing them back in unexpected ways.
Yep.
LEB's like, huge hands Hans would deserve it if it was actually him, though.
Yep.
Do you think huge hands Hans would deserve that?
I think Doofenshmirtz would buy him a ticket to some third world country where basically he would frame him for shoplifting and get his hands cut off.
Like, if five-finger discount.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, see, look how big his hands are. It's obvious he did it.
Exactly. Like, who's going to precise? That's exactly how it would go down.
Look, my hands are tiny. There's no way I could have grabbed that.
Off with his hands. He'll never do it again.
Oh, God. Gritty reboot.
Yeah.
It's like, so obviously our A plot and B plot come into conflict once again.
We have a little science lesson about we learned what ground means. Ground means basically any sort of metal.
It's like, I don't know how accurate it actually is.
I mean, it's probably, I guess there might be some exceptions to the metal, but it sounds about right.
Yep, and so like that's what they're going to do, which of course was also how Candace got launched in the first place. Like the old metal to metal, ground to ground kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's being brought back for the finale.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, a lot of the stuff that's like brought up, like you didn't expect to come back, comes back.
Oh yeah.
So what happens is that Candace actually faces her fear, learns her lesson, connects the jumper to. Apparently the robot has some kind of nose hair, which is apparently the purpose of the giant nose.
And here we go again. Doofenshmirtz. Why again do you build these features into the faces of the buildings and the robots? Just why?
Yeah, I'm going for the realism.
But yeah, but look, there's realism, and then there's like why the nose hair, which.
It's like, hey, when you build your giant robot, you do it how you want. So yeah, it is an unnecessary feature, though. I'm guessing you probably received it better than the sneezing building.
Yep.
Wait, do you take it? But do you buy it more than the sneezing building?
No. Well. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I buy the nose hair more than I do the sneezing. Yes, fine. I buy that more. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get. I was like, wait, you think the
sneezing... No. That's not, I'm saying I can buy. Yeah, I can buy the. Okay, at least for like authenticity, there's nose hair, but I do not buy for a second that you make a building with the ability to sneeze.
I know. I just wanted to bring that out into the open, see if you bought that more or which one you thought was more. Anyway. So either way, Candace gets it connected, and the boys rocket on home with the car in tow. But of course, Doofenshmirtz gives chase because he doesn't want to let Huge Hands Hans get away. And thus an exciting chase through the asteroid belt. Which according to the Fireside Girls, robots cannot corner well. Because there's a giant robot section in their handbook. What do you make of that?
I mean, there's being prepared, then there's maybe being a little too prepared, but I don't know. I mean, in the world with Doofenshmirtz, maybe it works.
Yep. I mean, who knows? Like, they need to be prepared for giant robots.
Yep.
I mean, we know chicks may dig them, but that doesn't mean they should be prepared for them. Right?
That's a whole different conversation, Jacob.
Yeah, I know. Chicks dig giant robots.
It's for the health class badge.
That was going in a completely different direction, Dragon. But anyway, Doofenshmirtz obviously gets attacked by an asteroid, while Perry's just going around trying to take care of him. And of course, like, Doofenshmirtz also sticks his head out of an open hole and his head blows up.
That's what I didn't honestly. That's the bit I didn't need. Like, I don't want to see Doofenshmirtz like be stupid and take his helmet off.
Well, he never had his helmet on.
Well, I'm sorry. This Doofenshmirtz being dumb enough to stick his head out like a hole in space. Like, I don't know.
Like, well, he's fine. And his head, it was only for a second, and then he got basically the robot got hit by the asteroid.
Okay, gritty reboot time. Let's throw it up one last time.
Gritty reboot time.
So Doofenshmirtz, in a moment of comedy, sticks his head out the window, and the head swells up. And then Perry the Platypus says, as he escapes, he looks back to his foe, thinking, "Oh yeah, I've defeated him once again, or at least by happenstance, he has been defeated." And he sees Doofenshmirtz's head completely blow up or implode or what have you, dead. And Perry's haunted by this. He's like, "Oh God, no! I didn't mean for any of this to happen." He thought, "How am I supposed to know he's going to be that stupid? He's going to stick his head out the window like that. Like, oh God, and he's got a daughter. What have I done? What do I tell him? Well, no. Do I frame someone? Oh God!"
Remember the clones.
I know he's got the clones. But it's just he's gonna know, Jacob. He's gonna know what he's done. He's gonna have to bear that burden. I mean, this platypus can only take so much. But then again, this is a platypus who at a certain point is going to realize, like, I'm a clone of a platypus of like several hundred clones of these two. What am I at this point? What are we? We're just symbols of a bizarre, mundane, petty rivalry that somehow ends in murder. Yeah.
Oh God. Gritty reboot time indeed. Let's see. Wouldn't be the first time Perry has killed Doof in this reboot.
Probably won't be the last either.
Yeah, considering how these things go, yeah, probably not.
All right.
So all's well that ends well. Let's see. Like, after they get, let's see, the boys land safely. Candace tries to get them in trouble again. Of course, the rocket takes off after Linda puts everything away. Linda causes the rocket to launch.
Then we have Candace with the line like, "Go make a pie. How about a fruit salad?"
Yeah, fruit salad's healthy. Fruit salad's healthy.
It's not as fun as pie, though.
I mean, there's fruit in pie.
How much of this how much of that do you think was like just her like, "Hey, you don't tell me to make the pie. I'll decide when I make the pie. You're getting fruit salad." Or how much do you think was just her actually making fruit salad?
I don't know. I think she's just in the mood to make some fruit salad.
Okay.
Let's go make some. How about a nice fruit salad? Like, all right, fruit salad. Sounds good. And of course, Isabella tries to finally successfully ask Phineas to the dance. Yeah, Dragon, what happens?
Well, it works, but if Phineas says yes, yes, well, we'll be there. Wait, will? Like, we? Like, it's like, yep, and it's him and Ferb.
It's like he decides to bring his brother along.
Yep, third wheel.
And she's like, sure, no prob. Again. Like, she says that 4 times in the episode.
She's very irritated with this.
Yeah, if you can just tell, she's like, yeah, sure. Like, she finally asked, and then he just brings his brother, like, sure, why not?
And then we have our post-credit gag. You know, Brad. Well, yeah, right. Candace and tells by Candace.
Like, Candace goes over to ask Jeremy not to the dance too, but she's wearing her spacesuit at the time.
Little Back to the Future nod.
Oh yeah, like Jeremy, will you go to the dance with me? It's like Candace, is that you? like, are you gonna be wearing that spacesuit? Why? Do you like it? I mean, I don't know, Dragon. Do you think she pulls it off?
Well, I do think it makes her butt look big, but you know.
Well, also her hands.
Yeah, her hands look huge.
Huge hands. Candace.
Well, oh, guys, thought of a stupid pun.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have huge hands, Hans, and then on the flip side, before we get to the hands, the huge Candace.
Oh, God.
Huge Candace.
Huge Candace. Oh, God. That is a bad pun. You are right.
I know, right? Terrible.
It is terrible.
I know, it's a very bad. I think you can smell the flies coming off of that pun.
Yeah, but oh yeah, that's so bad it's funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, so then we have our post-credit thing where they're dancing at the dance, doing the thing, and then we're seeing the meteor shower. In the meteor shower, the fallen stars, we see a giant robot.
And of course, they all think it's part of the shooting stars, the making a wish, and then Doofenshmirtz lands in the water.
He's burning alive.
But fortunately, the water puts him. It's like, "Gonna separate the platypus, and you too, huge hands, Hans."
Yeah.
It's the final frontier, baby.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That's it. So, yeah, this is a lot of fun episodes. I think this is like I think this is like probably one of my highlights of the first season, to be honest. And we only have two more. We only have two more episodes for this season before we move on to season 2.
Yeah.
So we're actually pretty much making headway. So that's so. No, I thought this is a fun episode. Like one of the I think probably I'm probably outside like it's about time, and I think it's like probably the best 2-parter of this season. Mostly, I think. Like I think it's probably my personal favorite 2-parter of this season. But we can discuss that at a later point, I guess. But so, any final thoughts, Dragon?
That's a solid episode. I hope we're gonna make this meteor thing, this comet thing, stand out next episode. But yeah, it was a solid one. I like the charm and the idea. I love the whole milkshake bar in space. Like that's great. It was cute. It was nice.
Yeah, I just like the overall charm, and the whole idea of this episode. It's just overall pleasant and very fun to deal with. Plus, I will say we actually do see see the milkshake bar once again briefly in a future episode.
Nice.
It's a brief cameo, and not much happens, but it is referenced again.
Okay.
All right, so thank you LEB and Code Geass for all your anime fan for all your comments. Quite a lively comment section today. So, and thank you all for joining us. So, join us next week for the Recap-inator for the one and only F Games. Good night, everybody. It's the final frontier, baby.
Milkshakes.
Shooting star milkshake bar.